Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Today we're going to look at the PSE NXT33. Now this is a 33-inch bow axle. Now PSE in 2020, which is 50 years for PSE, have released the Next in a 31 model, a 33 model and a 35 model. So that means 31 inches, 33 inches and 35 inches. And one of the big questions I'm going to get is which bow do you get? And what's the benefit of a 33 versus a 35, 31 versus a 35, and which bow do I choose? Now I haven't actually shot this bow. Well, I actually have. I've just sighted this bow in. But before this, I hadn't actually shot this bow. So people would ask me questions, which bow do they go for? Do I go for big cams versus small cams? What's the difference between it? So let's just answer some of those questions up front. The 31 inch is generally a hunting bow, it's more compact. The 35 inch is more of a 3D bow, more forgiving to shoot. Now what you're also getting with the longer bows, axle is generally a bigger brace height. So the bow tends to be a little bit slower, but a little bit easier to shoot. So if you're looking for a bow which is a little bit easier to shoot, you generally go for a longer axle. But if you're looking for a hunting bow, you're generally taking shorter shots. So you're generally looking for a more compact bow. People who are walking in the bush will generally want a lighter bow. The 31 inch is lighter in mass weight than a 33 inch. So this bow, the 33 weighs 4.5 pounds. I think the 31 inch weighs about 4.3. The 35 inch weighs about 4.7 pounds. I would like these bows to weigh 4 pounds, and that's where the Carbon Air comes into its own, or the Carbon Stealth, whatever PSE have called it for 2020, because the bow weighs about 3.7, so physically lighter, and lots of hunters will like the lighter bow. Now with the 33 inch bow, you're getting, with the Next 33, you're getting a 7-inch brace height. Now what that means is the bow is going to be slower. So, but it's going to be more forgiving. And why is it more forgiving? It's more forgiving because the distance from there to there is basically longer. So when you're aiming, basically you get less of that sort of shakes. The arrow's off the string quicker because it doesn't have to travel that extra inch. So it's a little bit more forgiving to shoot. Now, is it a lot more forgiving to shoot? The answer is no, it's not. It's a margin. Now what I found, the IBO on this bow is 322, which seems extremely slow, same as the IBO on the 31, but when I put it through the chronograph, it actually came up as one of the fastest bows I've chronographed. So it's like almost PSE is putting their IBO specs on their bows way down the charts of what it actually is in reality, and I find that kind of interesting. Now with the Next 33, it's got the Evolved cam system. This is the cam system PSE is using on all their cams. You can see it's a big cam. It's got a yoke here. This is the standard cam on all the PSEs. And a big question I get is, well, am I better to go for bigger cams or smaller cams? And the answer is, I would have always said go for a bigger cam because it's smoother to pull back. It's easier to pull back. However, I'm kind of changing my view in the last couple of weeks because I've gone for a smaller cam for the target bow. What I'm finding is the smaller cams are a little bit more forgiving to shoot and a little bit more forgiving on the tuning. Now, on the speed wise, I found it didn't make a lot of difference. So this is going to get back to what you prefer as far as a draw cycle. If you like the bigger valleys, the bigger cams are better for you. The Evolved cam system enables you to change the module. So this will come with the high let-off module, which you'll see on the module here. I'm just checking. The last two digits on the last two letters on the module, you'll see HL. That means high let-off. That means this module is adjustable from 80 to 90% let-off. And it's currently set on 90 because it's all the way in. To change to 80, you move it out. You have the option of buying the fast modules, which it will be a 65% let off or just a low let off. Basically, if you want more speed, an extra 8 feet per second, you go for the fast module. If you want low let off, and why would you want low let off? Because it creates more back tension. You don't like the big 90% let off. And I get asked, what does 90% let off means? This is this is actually a 70-pound bow. And I've wound it down to 60, so 90% let off, I'm actually going to be holding about 6 pounds of weight. So 90% of the weight is going to be reduced. Now sometimes that's hard to let off, and sometimes it's an aggressive draw cycle, so we'll talk about that. These modules are fully adjustable, so the draw length on this bow is adjustable from 26.5 to 32 inches, so a massive draw length adjustment. And all you do is basically unscrew those two screws, they're Torx screws, and move it. A being the longest and L being the shortest. You can currently see it's on G. G is 29. This is factory set. Each letter is 1/2 inch, so A being the longest, and L would be 26.5. So what has PSE done for 2020 versus 2019? They've got rid of the caged riser. It's gone. They've gone for shorter limbs here, a longer riser, machine limb pockets with a wedge lock system. And what's a wedge lock system? It means it clamps onto the limbs this way and also clamps that way, so it's pulling in there and pulling out there to clamp the limbs in place, and the limbs can't move. Now if ever you're going to adjust your bow or take the limbs off because you've had a thing, make sure you loosen the limbs off the side here if you're going to take the limbs off, because otherwise these little plastic bushings in here will get damaged. I saw some guys on Facebook damage these little things on the side here, and you damage them if you don't loosen off the sides when you go to replace stuff. What's some other questions I'm gonna get? Oh, just things. If you're making strings for your bow because you like custom strings, and I found this, generally your strings are going to be 22 or 24 strands. Your yokes are not. Your yokes are actually thinner. They're about 16 strands. So when you're making up strings, do not make 24, because it's too thick here. It's too thin here for 24 strands, and the yoke is too narrow for 24 strands. These are about 16 strands, so just bear that in mind. PSE has got rid of the flexible cable guard. It's now solid. Why did they do that? I believe it was part of tunability. So with the flexible, if you change your draw length, if you change your poundage, it flexes more. With the solid rod, you basically move it in or out to change your flexibility. PSE has got multiple sight positions to move your sight up or down. With your PSE for 2020, they've got multiple stabilizer positions, lower and higher. Now the concept behind this is PSE call it the pendulum effect, where if you move the weight down the bottom, so let's say you're holding a rope and you've got weight down the bottom there, it basically stays in place up the top, and the weight down the bottom will stay in place. So by moving all the weight down the bottom, you'll be more stable in shooting. So that's the concept behind the lower stabilizer position. You'll see a lot of target archers shoot 20 degrees down to move the weight downwards, and they'll shoot their back bar angled downwards, so all the weight is at the bottom. You obviously don't want the weight at the top, because the weight at the top would make it basically unbalanced. Okay, so with that, PSE's fitted a plastic grip. It's a rubber grip. You can take the grip off, and then it's like any other PSE's been, metal grip underneath. Now I'm going to say people have preferred the rubber grip. So I've had this bow in my shop now for a week. Number of people have tested it, and I've actually made some sales of it. So I let everyone basically shoot whatever the bow they want in the shop. And yeah, I had a guy come in, he's been in 3 weeks in a row, literally spent hours in the shop, and he apologized the other day. He said, "Oh, look, I'm sorry it took me so long," and he actually brought this bow. He said this was the best bow in the shop. Colors that it comes in. The Next 33, this is a fusion dipped, and I'm going to say PSE have improved their fusion process. It's a nice matte finish. Yeah, greatly improved. So some people have said about the graphics on the limbs on the Evoke, on the PSEs. You can see the colors. Some people say, well, they should be camo or a different thing. That's just purely aesthetics, whether you like the feel of, like the look of it or not. Animals are colorblind, and I take the point that maybe PSE could do something different with the graphics on the limbs. It's just personal opinion whether you like it or not. So let's have a feel of what this bow's like to draw. Now the strings on PSE are made by PSE. They're made on a computer, live wire. I'm going to say they are expensive to buy from PSE. So let's just try the draw cycle. So it starts off, the very first inch is hard. So it's starting off with a very firm draw, feels the same, getting a little bit heavier there. Now it's starting to drop. You can feel it dropping now, dropping, dead stop. When you get back here, you're holding no weight, and it's physically, I'm going to let this down. Now you can see when I go to let it down, it's not a sudden drop. So some bows suddenly drop off. This is not the case. This is rising, and then it slowly drops off into the valley. And then it's a very solid wall when you get back there. So when you go to let this down, even though you're only holding 6 pound, you've got to kind of push it down, but it's not going to, it doesn't hurt my shoulder to let this bow down at all. And this is set on 60 pound. So very easy draw cycle. You wouldn't expect this bow to be fast because it's such an easy draw cycle. I'm going to be really interested to see what the speed is. So this bow's at 29 inches, it's set on 60 pound, it's a 70 pound bow, and the arrows I shoot are normally gold tip velocities, which I'll go and get. Okay, so the arrows I shoot are gold tip velocities. They weigh 327 grains. They've got a 90 grain point, they've got pin system on the back. The fastest I think I've chronographed is 316. Fast bows tend to shoot above 300. Your target bows are generally in the 280s. So at this speed, this should be in the 280s, but if you saw my review on the 31 shot a 308, which is incredibly quick. So this will be interesting to see what sort of speed we get. But it's definitely easy. Like, I'm in the valley there, and I can just hold it and then rocks into place. The grip is very comfortable. And you can, like, look at the hand when you take that shot. Now the speed was slow, 291. So that is slow compared to the 31 I shot. But I tell you, this does not feel like 60. It feels like 50. I know it's 60 because I put it on a scale before I came out here. So 291. The grip puts your hand in a place where it should be. See, my knuckles are at 45 degrees. It doesn't feel comfortable like that to grip it, and you shouldn't be gripping a bow like that. That's the way your hand should be, and this grip puts it in the position where it should be. Speed of 291 is definitely kind of where it needs to be for 322. Not fast, but quiet and no vibration. Just look at the shot afterwards. And when I get back here, you can see I can hold it all day. So my hand's completely open. Just watch the bow. .290. You can see the bow's not even moving. It's got no stabilizers. Completely stable and very quiet. No vibration, no nothing. I think PSE say there's 50% less noise and vibration with this bow than their 2019 version, the Evoke. And absolutely, like, this bow is dead in the hand. So with that, let's take this back to 18 and let's see what sort of group I shoot. Okay, so I'm back here at 18 meters. I have sighted the bow and I did shoot 5 arrows, and I don't think I hit the 10. So, but I was kind of pretty happy they were in the gold. The arrows I shoot, these are my target arrows. These are Victory VAPs. They were 350 with a 140 grain point with a pin system at the back to stop the Robin Hoods. So the big question you're going to get is, which bow do I buy? The 31, the 33, or 35? And I found it simpler before when PSE just had the 31 or 35, because the 35 was more of your target bow, more of your 3D bow. Your 31 was your hunting bow, and what they've done with the 33 is put a bow right in the middle. And I think that's going to create a bit of confusion for people about which bow to get, because if you're a hunter, you're going to be like, well, do I go for 33? Do I go for a 31? Some of that will be to do with your draw length. If you need a big draw length, then you need to go for a longer bow. I would expect the 31 will outsell the 33, because a lot of hunters like the shorter 31 inch, and the 31 inch is still a forgiving bow to shoot. I think I'll shoot slightly better groups with this bow than I did with the 31. I think I'll shoot this pretty well. So let's see how it is to draw and shoot. So the first thing I'm going to say is the draw cycle is very smooth. So when I'm aiming the pin at the target, basically it doesn't jump off as I come over the valley because it's very smooth over the valley. With some of the bows with a dramatic drop off, your bow moves up and down when you're basically drawing back. The whole time I'm aimed in the middle. I find the sight pin is very stable on the middle of the 10. I assume that went in the 10. I'm not getting much variation left to right or up and down with this bow. Now part of the reason will be with a carbon bow, a lighter bow, I'll probably get more movement in my front hand because the bow's so light. This bow being 4.5, it's heavier. Now heavier bows for hunting will absorb more shock because they're heavier, so they'll feel better to shoot, but they are physically heavier if you're hunting. So that means you've got more mass to carry around. So yes, it does feel better, it'll absorb more shock, it'll be quieter, but you've got the whole cost of the physical weight to carry. But it feels great. The grip feels great. Now I'm going to say that took a long time to get that shot off. At night, a fly crossing my eye, and then the fly was on the other eye, and basically I was having trouble getting the shot off because the fly was annoying me. But that's the benefit of 90% let off, because I'm holding 6 pounds, I'm not fatiguing, I'm not shaking around. If you went for the low let off module, then you'll be shaking around more if you can't get the shot off quickly because the animal's moving, or you're waiting for the shot, you're waiting for the animal to come into position, or let's say you're shooting tournament and you're just having tournament pressure and you're having trouble getting that shot off. It's easier with the low let off, with the high let off to get the shot off. Now I find I shoot better with low let off because I'm actually holding more weight back here. I find it helps my follow through. That's getting the shot off because I'm holding more weight, so the hand comes back better with low let off. But I still think I'll shoot okay with this. Now this bow's set up with just a biscuit arrow rest, a D loop, and a plastic sight. This is a $10 sight, $20 rest, and a D loop. No peep sight, no stabilizer. This is the way I set up all my reviews. Look, this bow just feels super simple to shoot. Now I had a guy in my shop yesterday, he wanted his first bow, and basically he was looking at a speed bow, and I was like, don't buy a speed bow because it's your first bow, hard to shoot, more likely to blow it up. This bow, like if you're a first timer, this bow is easy, like easy. I think you're going to like the rubber grip. It's a big thing for customers who come in the shop when they feel a bow to like the way the grip holds and the bow feels. This bow feels good. It's interesting, when I'm holding, I'm getting a little bit of that. I think it's because of the low let off. Sorry, the high let off. But the sight pin's still in the 10, so it doesn't fluctuate out to the 9s. It just sits there, it just bounces around in the middle. I mean, I like it to be steadier, but it is what it is. Stabilizer would get rid of that wobble. I feel I don't even know what I was going to say. I don't feel this is 60 pounds. This just feels so easy to draw. I know I put it on a scale before I did this review, and I know it came in at 59.7, but it just feels like nothing. And it's not because it's first thing in the morning and my body's not fatigued. It just is so simple to shoot this bow. So which bow would I choose? Would I choose the 33 or would I choose the 31? Well, it depends on your purpose and what you're going to do with the bow. I like this bow to shoot, and I tend to be more of a target shooter than a hunter. However, if I was hunting, this bow comes in an 80-pound model, which I think is great for PSE and great for hunters. Look, for hunting, I would think I prefer the more accurate bow, the one which is easy to shoot. And what I would do is I'd probably put the fast modules on and test that out to pick up my speed, because I know I've got a bow which is easy to shoot. What people seem to forget when they look at IBO speeds, and this is slow, is this bow's easy to draw. So I could draw back a bow 65 pounds with this draw cycle. With a bow which is faster, I'm struggling on a 60. So my full throttle is a 60-pound bow, it might even be 55. So much harder to draw and shoot than this, like not even comparable. And yeah, the full throttle's fast. But let's talk about the same speed. Let's wind this bow up to 65 and then compare this to the full throttle. This bow would be easy to shoot at 65 and the full throttle at 55. Because with speed you get nothing for free. Basically, if the bow's going to be faster, it's going to have a shorter brace height, which means you're drawing back more for a longer period of time, and you're going to have to build up more poundage quicker. You're going to have to build up hot quicker, hold it for longer, and have less valley, which is just harder to shoot. In fact, yesterday I've got an inertia, PSE inertia, which was a 366 feet per second bow, 356 feet per second bow. So it's a faster PSE, a few years old now. And he's asking me about, now that's a nice bow. I owned one of those for a couple of years, but I would shoot this 50 times more than that bow because it's just easy to shoot. It's not going to hurt my shoulders. It's not going to hurt my body. It's going to be more forgiving to shoot. I'm going to get better results. I'm going to enjoy it more. And I think that's where PSE has gone. They've gone for easier shooting bows that people are going to enjoy. Now, if you shoot the 3D circuit, you're limited to speed. You're limited to 300 feet per second, so you don't need that hard, aggressive bow with a short brace height, which is going to be hard to get good results from. And I think that's where PSE have gone with this bow. And the 80-pound option means you're still going to get that energy if you need it to shoot the big game animals. So I think I shot this well. I can't see what my arrows are like down there, so let's go and see what the groups are like. I think they'll be good, because seriously, I found this bow so easy to shoot. Go and check it out. Never take my word for it. Go and check it out and see what you think about the Evoke 33. I think it's easy to shoot. I think it's easy to draw. It's not like the other PSEs. It's not like the bows PSE have produced in the past. This bow is very, very easy to shoot, draw, quiet, no vibration. So I think the groups down there are going to be good. So let's go and see. Okay, so I'm down here at the target. Oh, look at that. I shot an 8 off to the side. I don't know which arrow that was because I really can't see the arrows back there. But besides the 8, I can fit my fingers around the whole lot, which is basically my group. Look, how many arrows did I shoot? 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tens. But the group is tight. It's a tight group. There's off to the left and fractionally high. But besides the 1.8, I mean, that's a great, like a really great score. Even for a target shooter, that would be a great score, which is why I'm always big on people. Get yourself a decent bow, get yourself decent arrows, and you'll get good results. Like it's $10 sight, $10 arrow rest. You can get good, like that group would be awesome in an archery club. If you can shoot that at 18 meters in an archery club, you're going to be a great shooter at that club, whichever club it is. And you don't need a $400 sight, you don't need a $400 arrow rest. You don't need all the fancy stuff. Just get the basics of archery happening. So my summary, the bow's easy to shoot. So simple. How do I rate it as far as ease to shoot, as far as PSEs? I think it's the easiest bow I've shot to date. So other easy PSE bows to shoot, I found the drive pretty easy to shoot. But I think this is the easiest PSE bow I've shot. I've shot some easy bows in the past. I think there's been one from Elite, was it the Revolve or the Ritual, which was pretty easy. But I think this is the easiest bow I've shot. It's not the fastest bow I've ever shot, so it's definitely not in the speed machine bows that I've shot. But as far as accuracy, just easy. So for myself, I'd be happy with this bow. I would definitely try the low let off or the fast modules with it to pick up the speed, because like 10, if I could pick up 10 feet per second with a fast module, it then puts it in the faster categories, which means judging distance. If I've got to judge distance, like let's say I'm shooting unmarked 3D, I'm now competitive. I'd shoot lighter arrows for 3D than these to pick up my speed. I'd be shooting the Victory 3D HVs or the RIP Extreme Velocity ones, because that's going to pick up 20 feet per second. But it still gives me a stable platform, and I've been shooting since I was 12. I'm almost 50, so 38 years. And my tendencies, I always used to shoot fast. I used to like fast, aggressive bows with short brace heights. And I kind of still do, but for me, I know what I like now. I like more forgiving. I like bows that don't hurt my body, they don't hurt shock. I don't like my body hurting. I don't like hurting from shooting. I like more consistency in the shot. I like to be able to aim what I aim for. I like to be able to hit. PSE have produced it with this bow. It's a very easy bow to shoot. It's high quality with metal limb pockets. The limbs are under a lot less stress than any PSE limb in the past, so basically these limbs are going to last you forever. The cam system's a good cam system. Very, very adjustable. So when you go to sell this bow, it's an easy bow to sell because it will suit anybody. And I say this all the time, if you've got a PSE and you want to upgrade it, it sells so fast. I mean, I had a drive in my saw on Saturday, traded in, it sold the same day it went up. Where I've got Hoyts sitting in my shelf and they've been there for literally 3 or 4 months at a third of the price of new, and they're immaculate bows, but they're really hard to sell because the draw length is over a set range, and a person buying a bow doesn't know if they're 30 inches, 30 and a half, or 29 and a half. So they've got to buy a module, they've got to source that module. It's a pain in the bum for them, where the PSE's got that rotating module which suits anyone, so you buy the bow and it's going to suit you. It's such a selling point, I cannot stress it enough. And with the Elite, to change a module you need a bow press, you need to take the strings off them. And there's nothing wrong with Elite bows, they're good bows, but what I'm saying is the PSE is just so easy to work on. It's just like Now with tunability, I'm going to talk about tuning your bow through paper. I had a guy in my shop on Thursday. He was getting a slight left tear, so the veins are coming out to the left. We tried a different arrow and a paper hole, bang, straight through. So a different arrow was perfect, but the arrows he was shooting was left tearing. I had to literally move the cams to the left because it was tearing to the left, the thickness of a piece of paper, the washer, the thickness of the paper, and then it was bullet holing. So some of it is the tunability, but like that bow's not tuned and it's getting those results, so like I wouldn't even worry about it. So yeah, so for me, great bow. PSE, the best customer service in the industry. Like like for me, if someone breaks a PSE, you know, they dry fire it. I had a guy dry fire his PSE the other day and blew it up. And seriously, you get people breaking their bows all the time in a bigger shop. It's just stress free for me. I was like, I order it and the parts will be here in a couple of weeks. I cannot stress how easy that makes my life and for my staff's life, because it's like, yeah, I know the parts are going to come in, and even if, let's say, the email doesn't get through and something doesn't happen, well, in 2 weeks we'll know that, and then the parts will come in 2 weeks after that. So it's just never an issue, where other bow companies, you know, it can be, sometimes it's just really hard to get the parts for. So yeah, PSE, great customer service, been in the industry for 50 years. They've really prided themselves in customer service and looking after customers, and for dealers it just makes their life really easy. As far as selling the bows, easy because it's easy to adjust for anyone. Customer service is easy. The colors are great. I sound like I'm doing a pitch for PSE, but to me it's an easy bow. The price point on it, $1,400. How's that rate in the market? I think it prices the bow well. I think it prices it under everyone else as far as for what they're offering. You've got to say whether you want that speed in the bow or not, but go and try bows. Go and try them in the shop, and if you can, some shops don't let you try bows, but go and try them. I think this bow, it's definitely a bow I would consider right on the top of my list. So if a person come into my shop with $1,500, this would be right on the top of the list to go, and it'd be one of the first bows I'd hand them. I'd hand them different bows from different companies, like from Elite, from Hoyt, from Bear, from Obsession, but this is good, really, really good. Anyway, I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies, and the more you shoot, the better you're going to shoot, and just enjoy it while you're doing it. Thanks for watching. Bye.